welcome to the Breathwork Reset Method Taster Class. I'm going to share a little bit about the method, but in particular, I want to just give you a really good session today. And this is going to fall under a little bit of breath work, but it's all going to fall under some embodiment work as well. So I'm going to give you hopefully a nice session to take away, and you'll get a replay of this as well. And we'll cut out the guidance, and you can have that as a MP3 for your practice as well. So I'm Mike Maher. I'm a breathwork coach, sometimes podcaster, sometimes YouTuber. It makes me feel a bit gaggy when you say that. I put stuff on YouTube, but I love doing the podcast. We've been very lucky that I've been able to interview about 150 experts now, people that I would have no business talking to in the real world if I bumped into them in the street. But because we have the big YouTube channel, it's really good that they'll give me a couple of hours of time. So we've been really able to look and speak to a lot of people, which is very, very cool. And with that's come a lot of learnings, and I'm going to share some of those with you now. So one of the biggest things that people say to me when I'm doing my breath assessments and I'm trying to work on bringing in clients to the program is they're exhausted and they're stressed. They're probably the two biggest things. The third closest thing after that is brain fog, and mental clarity and recall isn't very good. But exhaustion and stress seem to just be the big two. And when you look at things like Google Trends, which is like analytics of what people are searching for, and it's all free, you can go and do it. It's fascinating if you've got a few minutes. You'll see that those numbers are on the rise. But then what you'll also see on the rise is there's the ebb and flow. So people are searching for breath work and they're looking for tools for these things. And I agree that we need to stop the world getting faster and crazier, but it's good that we do have these tools. And I'm going to share a couple of those with you today. A lot of these webinars, they do a lot of wow and know how. I hate that. It makes me gag again. So hopefully we'll keep Jim Carrey happy. I'm going to give you some actual how today. I think it's terrible that if we just tease you and don't give you anything to do. So you're going to get actual practical tools to take away today as well. And I can't not read this quote, because this quote is the basis for why I do what I do every day. I've been in the breathwork world now for about 9 years. And I started coaching clients about 4 or 5 years ago. And when I read this book, Breath by James Nestor, who we've had on the podcast like 5 times, I think now, a New York Times bestselling science writer. And he says, no matter what you eat, how much you exercise, how resilient your genes are, how skinny or young or wise you are, none of it matters unless you're breathing correctly. I'll just let that sink in for a second, because most experts will agree, Nestor himself, Dr. Bliss of Varanich, there's many more, they'll say about 9 out of 10 of us are struggling to breathe in some way. So our actual respiratory system is under attack. And it's mostly under attack, not because of anything that we've done ourselves, it's more because the modern world isn't our friend. You know, we sit a lot, we have chronic stress, artificial light, poisoned foods, the water's got problems. There's a lot of things working against us at the moment. However, the breath is a tool. And it's a tool to bring us back to a baseline. And when we can fix our breathing patterns, it has a huge effect on our nervous system, on our regulatory system. All these things are connected to how we breathe. So just a little quote there. So I want to just introduce you. I know some of you might have been on last week's webinar. Give me a little wave if you made it to last week. Or am I dealing with, yeah, okay, so Margaret's there, yeah, a couple of others. Okay, good. So I'll give you a little blurb of this. So we've been working on something called the Breathwork Reset Method. And I really like the word reset, and it's for one particular thing. I see the word reset all the freaking time. And it always made me scratch my head and go, what do you mean by reset? It makes no sense. Like, we're not a computer, we're not a VCR. I'm showing my age a little bit here. Like, how do you reset a human being? And then as I was coming through my method and I was trying to pull all these experts together and all these different things that we looked at over these years, and I thought, okay, this word actually is coming into meaning something. So let me just bring it to life for you a little bit. These are the 5 gates, or the 5 pillars that we all have to walk through if we want to have good breathing. And again, why would we want good breathing? Well, it links to everything. It's the most important thing we do. So if we start to choke on a sandwich, we don't get very long. You know, we start to panic very, very quickly. And so if you are in a stressed position or an exhausted position and your breath is not optimized, well, we can optimize that, and it can influence how your energy is and your stress level. So that's the beautiful thing about what we do, and it's all evidence-based. So these are the 5 big gates that we have to walk through. Let me just let some peeps in. So the first one is release. Oh, there we go. It's all about release. So what is this? And this is probably the main gate most of us have to get through. This is making sure that if you imagine a Ferrari, and I'm playing with this metaphor, so you might have heard it play about with over the last few weeks. If that Ferrari's engine is a bit seized and a bit gritty, then it doesn't really matter what kind of fuel you put inside that Ferrari, because the fact is, at the end of the day, the engine's not moving properly. So even though it's a beautiful Ferrari, we can polish it and we can put in the most expensive fuel and oil. If the engine's not moving properly, then it doesn't make any difference. And it's the same with us. And what's our moving engine? Well, when it comes to breathing, it's your ribs, it's your diaphragm, it's your shoulders, it's your back, it's your belly, it's all those areas, it's your pelvic floor. All these things are connected to how you breathe, the physical body. One of the things that happens as we age is that we start to get a bit stiffer and a bit tighter. Now, I don't know if anybody else is feeling it. I'm feeling that every day, especially past 40. It's creeping up on me. And we've got to be vigilant with that. The beautiful thing about the breath, and in particular the release section, is when we start talking about words like fascia and diaphragm strength mobility, and when we talk about rib cage flexibility, these are things that you can work into a practice, and they are essential, because once we start to get tighter, I heard this horrible quote, which is we start to suffocate on our own rib cage. Awful. So, but that doesn't need to be the case. We can undo a lot of that work. I've worked with 18-year-old rugby players. I've worked with 74-year-olds and everything in between. And it humbles me every time how flexible our body can be once we know what to do. So in this section, we have about 18 specific stretches that we teach clients that are linked to breath work and mobility exercises to reset and release your breath mechanics. It's the most important thing. I'm clicking on the wrong area. There we go. The second gate that we have to walk through to reset our breathing is the energy. And this comes through many forms. Sleep is part of it. And you think, well, why are you talking about sleep if it's breath work? You can't really split those two things up. How you breathe at night affects how you sleep, and how you sleep affects your breathing during the day. The two things are like best friends, and they're probably the two foundational pillars of health, because diet and exercise, so important. Daylight, critical. EMF, if you want to go down that route. But actually, if you're not sleeping properly, the quote that I always use is the difference between hope and despair is a good night's sleep. You're here maybe because you're tired or you're stressed. So we need to optimize our sleep, and we do that through certain protocols, including breathing, and that helps bring energy. But the other part is, you might have heard the word mitochondria, the energy, the powerhouse of our cells, deeply affected by how you breathe. And so we need to optimize our breathing. The release is part of it, but this is part of it as well. Next part, we're going to focus on a little bit of this today. And this is what I like to call soothing of the nervous system. People say, again, I want to reset my nervous system. I don't really know what that means, but I know that I can soothe it. I like to think of my nervous system like a little puppy or a little kitten. And if you put that little kitten under a lot of stress, and you make it stay up late and you poke it and you make it stare at a screen for 9 hours and you say you can't move, you've got to sit there and you've got to do these things, and you get stressful emails, that little kitten or puppy is probably going to start shaking and not going to be the happiest. And that's our little nervous system. It's there to protect us. And our ancestors were running around the fields, and of course they had dangers, but actually they had a balance. And so there's ways to soothe it with specific breathing techniques, somatic touch and movement techniques. And we teach those in the method to bring us back to baseline. It's not about being in rest and digest all the time, or sympathetic versus parasympathetic. It's about a balance, and that comes through Soothe. I'm going to share some of that with you today. And then the last couple, embodiment. This can be a big one. So we are a body. We are mostly in our mind these days. If you ever come across Eckhart Tolle's, Power of Now, Be Here Now, these things, we did a really good job of getting into our heads. And I heard a quote that said, we live with a really bad roommate, because I don't know about you, the person that lives in my head with me isn't always my best friend, doesn't always say the nicest things. And, you wouldn't speak to your dog like that sometimes, crikey. So we need to be aware of that first of all and go, okay, that's normal. That's happening to all of us, but it's not optimal. Like, what do we do? Well, we live in a body. Like, how lucky are we that we get to live in this body? It's like the greatest, it's the greatest tool you're ever going to be given. And yet we get stuck up here a lot. And so there are tools and techniques and evidence that how we can bring ourselves into an embodied experience. So what is that? It's like feeling ourselves, being aware of this, and not just the good, the bad stuff, the aches and the pains, but what feels good. So I'm going to guide you tonight on a beautiful embodiment practice, and we're going to bring in some soothing breath work to complement that. So we're going to blend a few things together. I keep pausing because I keep getting about 10 people waiting to get in. There we go. All right. And then the last bit which can be very tough. I like the quote from a friend of mine. He said it's like being told to eat your greens. It doesn't always taste very nice, but it's very, very good for you. Um, and so what this is about being able to tolerate your breath. It's about being able to slow down. It's about being able to handle a slower breath. And I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about when you're not thinking about it. I'm talking about what happens when you're sleeping, when you're walking, all these different things. So we have to be able to tolerate. And we're not going to get into all of the science of that tonight. That's for the program that we're starting next week. But they're the 5 gates, the 5 pillars. I've looked at this from many different angles. I've spent hours talking to ChatGPT. I've spoke to 150 experts, and I'm trying to figure out like what we're missing, what else is there, and it feels like these are the 5 key pillars that we can all walk through in quite a short period of time to get to a good place, to get to mastery. It takes different levels for all of us to get to excellence, but we can go from a place where I've had people absolutely exhausted, stressed out of their mind, on medications, and within a couple of months, I'm not talking years, I'm talking 3-4 months of good practice, we can get into a beautiful place with some of these things. And whatever else is going on in your life, if you're breathing better than those things, it's going to help. So we breathe better to move better. We breathe better to think better. We breathe better to feel better. That's the reason we do it. We don't breathe better just simply to breathe better. What would be the point in that? So that's the method. That's what we're going to dig into a little bit today. And what I realized is they're all connected, all these points. So like you've got a lot of breathwork schools out there, which I love, and I've studied under a lot of them, and they silo out. And it's almost like looking at a rainbow and trying to pick one color and go, well, that's a rainbow. I've got the blue, so I know what a rainbow is. Or I've got the pink, I know what a rainbow is. But actually, a rainbow is a spectrum of colors, and I feel like the breath is very similar. And you can't really split out one or two things and say I'm doing breath work or I'm breathing or it's a complement of all these beautiful things. And I think the ancients knew this. I think that there's nothing new in breath work. I've not invented anything. I'm just simply a researcher trying to pull all this together. And I feel like these are the important bits. So anyway, there we are. Nice little jigsaw. So a couple of bits. Why am I doing this? This is the last workshop of the year that we're doing live. The main course, I can see Ruth put a comment in there because you might be thinking the course has started today. It hasn't. This is a free taster workshop. So next Sunday at this time, which is 5 p.m. London, and I think the clocks have just changed for us, but not for everybody else. We will be launching our program, the Breathwork Reset Method, where I will take you through those 5 gates. So over 5 weeks, the 5 Sundays in November, I'm going to be walking you through 2-hour sessions as we go into each of those pillars. I'm going to bring them to life for you, share evidence behind them, help you embed them, and then give you homework for that week. On a Saturday, there will be a Q&A and in bed in a session where we can hopefully make some friends. We're going to pair people up for accountability if they want to do that. And then the reason these beautiful faces are on here next to my ugly mug is these are the guests coming in to support me. And just to give you a little flavor of who we've got coming in, we've got Alex Green, an embodiment specialist. Beautiful, beautiful human. He's coming in to do a session for us. We have got Lottie Parup, a fascia release expert. She's going to come in and give us a guided fascia session. We've got my friend and business partner in the Airheads, Tom Granger, and he's going to be coming in to talk to us about polyvagal theory. And then we've got my friend Julia Worrell, who runs a sleep retreat in Mexico. So if anybody has been on holiday and you've done the classic thing of drank too much wine and partied too hard, think about this as the alternative where you can go to Mexico and spend 2 weeks practicing your sleep. I don't know about you, but that feels, especially with a 3-year-old downstairs, feels like heaven. So these are the supporting cast coming in to support me. And I've got my little mate here, O2D2, who will also be coming to join us. And this is my fully trained AI coach. So I know there's a lot of good and bad press out there about AI at the moment. What we've been able to do is feed all the data from all my research. And this is pretty good at helping us build your own plan, keep you accountable. I'm going to teach you how to use that as well, and that's included. So I'll come back to this in a bit, but this is the reason for today, to give you a little glimpse, a little taste, almost like a breath drug dealer, trying to give you a little hook into it. And hopefully you think, well, that was a bit of fun. Maybe I'd like to come and join Mike for the next 5 weeks. Everything's recorded, by the way. So let's get into this a little bit, because I would love to get you into a session in about 10 minutes. So I just want to recognize something, that is, we are not living our lives properly. There is an author called Chris Ryan, Dr. Chris Ryan, and he wrote a book called Civilized to Death. And in that book is the front cover is a monkey smoking a cigarette with a can of Coke. And you think, well, that's really cruel. Why would you do that to a monkey? We do it, we do it to us every day. So our ancestors were living, of course, in danger. Of course, there was predators and tribes and all these different things going on. But we have our own dangers today, and in some ways worse. We've got access to news for the entire planet, which is mental. Our brains can't handle that amount of stress. Wars going on in different places. We were living in tribes of 150-ish people. We had some support and community. It takes a village to raise a child. So we've lost a lot on the way to what we would call progress. And in some ways, look, let's be honest, we're on Zoom, we're connecting, we've got all these beautiful tools, we've got access to the world's knowledge in our pocket, and yet something feels off. There shouldn't really be a breath coach. There shouldn't really be somatic practitioners. Hunter gatherers didn't have a breath coach taking them through how to breathe properly. Let's be honest. But we've gone into a world now where we sit a lot, and we've wreaked havoc with our sleep and our breathing, and we've got all this stress, and it's really hard to switch off. Recently, I was in Egypt, and they wanted a ridiculous amount of money for the Wi-Fi, and I was like, I'm not paying that. That's crazy. So I had no Wi-Fi, and it was the best 2 weeks I've had in probably the last 10 years. I couldn't access anything, and the first couple of days there was some withdrawal symptoms going on, but then my nervous system started to calm even deeper. So that was a really lovely trick that had come through. So look, we've strayed far from the path. But what I've noticed is if we fix our breathing, it makes a huge impact. It gives us the resilience and the tools. So one thing we do on the Breathwork Reset method is we'll get you to complete some self-assessments, quite detailed ones. You'll get a series of scores. I've picked these metrics: resilience, calm, clarity, energy, and sleep, because they're deeply, deeply affected by how your breathing is. And we'll go through and we'll measure your CO2 tolerance. We'll do some tests there. We'll test your exhales, we'll test your mechanics, we'll test where your breath is, we'll do all of that, we'll look at how your breathing is, and we'll give you a load of scores, and we'll give you a starting position. This is really, really important to do this, because it starts like, where is my breathing right now objectively? A bit like when you're trying to lose fat and build muscle. We need a starting position for that, or measuring our sleep quality. So we like to measure, we like to have some data for that. So most important thing is we get a starting position there. Now, I want to just tell you a short story about one of the toughest experiences of my traveling career. I got to travel in 2018, and I got to quit my job at the age of 35. My parents thought I'd had a midlife crisis, which I had. And I quit my very, very safe job, and I bought a one-way ticket out of England. And I got to travel for about 9 months, 10 months across the world. And I thought I knew how to travel and I could handle airplanes. And then about 2 years ago, I got to do the craziest journey of my life. So I got to go from Bangkok to Wyoming in less than a day and a half. And I didn't know where I was and what I was doing. And I was literally hanging out with the monks one day, trying to get them to bless my son and have a little bit of fun. And then within 2 days, I had the strongest depression I'd ever felt. My body didn't know where it was. It was just really, really confusing. But the reason I went there and I made that journey was I was given an opportunity to train with one of the world's top embodiment practitioners. His name's Paul Hughes. He runs a company called Vivation. And I got to hang out with him and a load of other people. And we got to do a load of embodiment practices, and it was one of the best things I ever did. And the depression lifted, and I had a cup of coffee, and I got some sunshine, and got to hang around Paul. But what I did over those 10 days was I deeply, deeply immersed myself in the art of embodiment. And Paul, who's a real Yoda when it comes to this sort of work, we did it in hot water, which you should never do without an expert, by the way. Don't go and do a load of breath work in water. You'll, not good. Wim Hof got in a lot of trouble for that. But we do these things very safely with experts. And I spent a lot of time below my neck. I spent a lot of time feeling my body. And I thought, why am I doing this? I don't need to do this. The more I did it, it was very uncomfortable. But the more I did, the more I started to realize we've been given this gift of a body. And it's a crime, an actual crime, that we've cut ourselves off from it, because there's so much beautiful information there. Some of it's not very nice, but it all needs to be heard. And the metaphor I love the most is it's a bit like the postman's knocking on our front door, and the postman's bringing the messages of our body, and we're in the house watching Netflix. We're distracted, we're in the head. And the postman starts knocking on the front door and we turn the TV up. I don't need to listen to him. And he starts banging on the windows, he starts hammering on the walls, he starts shaking the roof. And we just keep turning up the volume to Netflix. Well, what happens if we answer the postman? Or if we do, he gives us the message and he probably goes away. And so there's a real power and art to listening to our body. And I'm going to do a little bit of that today. I'm really excited to share some of that with you. So this was one of the most transformative experiences of my life. I'm going to bring some of that hopefully to life for you today. And we're going to combine it with a little bit of breath work. So I always like my practice to be very evidence based. We're not doing any woo woo fairy stuff here. I've done all that. There's some great things out there. That's not these practices. I've done rebirthing and conscious connected breathing and all sorts of deep experiences. But I'm always drawn back to the science and evidence of breath work and breathing, because I think before we get into those elements, most of us need to work on those 5 gates that I shared you. They're the 5 pillars of getting our body in a good place. It's a bit like an analogy. I was thinking, like, I really want to get back into jujitsu. I love jujitsu. I want my son to do it, but my body's got a lot of problems. I've got a lot of injuries, and so it's a bit like, well, I'd like to do jujitsu, but actually, I need to do more yoga first. I need to do more stretching. I need to rebuild this foundation, because if I start to put a load of stress on myself, then things are going to break really easy. And that's what I feel like a lot of this strong breath works like. And people will argue against that and say, no, you can jump into a powerful session today and it'll release some trauma. Again, I don't really know what that means, but you can do those sort of things. But I feel like we work on these foundations, especially if, today, exhaustion and mental clarity and stress are the things that you're here for. So we're going to do some embodiment work. I'm going to guide you through it. We're going to add some coherence breathing afterwards. So I'm going to guide you in. I'm going to give you some instructions. I'm going to ask you just to focus and bring your attention inward. I'm going to give you some prompts so that you've got areas to focus on. And then we'll do that for a few minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes. And then after that, we're going to switch into coherence breathing. I'm going to just give you a minute on coherence breathing. I know some of you know this, but coherence breathing is probably the most effective breathing exercise in our toolkit. It's around 6 breaths per minute. It regulates really well. And what I mean by that, brings us into soothe, into balance. It's one of the best known tools to improve heart rate variability, which is the gaps between the heartbeats, which are really important. When your heart's stressed, when your body's stressed, the heart gets overwhelmed and it can't react. A good heart's a good listener. And it has to be able to react to blood pressure and temperature. And if you stand up or you sit down or you lay down or you run, the heart's constantly having to change what it does to keep you in a balance. And the more stressed we get, the more the heart starts to beat like a metronome, because it can't. It's too much. It's too much information. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to beat at the same beat. But when we are able to have more resilience, when we have more variability, the heart's able to kind of react to different things second by second. And one of the best ways to improve that is coherence breathing. In fact, there's a Lady Gaga and Metallica's producer, Rick Rubin, was on the Andrew Huberman show a year ago. And this blew me away. He was using our track from our channel. He goes, I've got this track. I'm doing it every day, and he played it for Huberman, and it was my track, and my voice was, I'm on the Huberman channel. And he got to take Andrew Huberman through our coherence track, which is highlight of this role, and taught him these techniques. So I'm going to share some of those with you tonight as well. So we're going to use coherence breathing. So we're going to do some embodiment. We're going to tap into our system. Our head's going to kick in, and it's going to say a couple of things to you. It's going to say, oh, this doesn't work. Do it later. Just, don't need to do it properly now. And that's okay. Just acknowledge and say thank you, and then listen to me as I bring you back in. And what we're doing here is it's almost like we've got a focus in our mind, and we're just gently bringing the attention down, bringing it into our body. I'm going to give you areas to focus on in there. And this is a practice. And we'll go deeper into this in the 5-week program. But the more we practice embodiment, the better we get. It's like meditation. It is meditation, but it's a body-led meditation is what we're doing here. And some of the benefits are very good at relieving stress, very good at helping us be present. I don't know about you, time just seems to be speeding up every week, every year. We've got a little one, he's 3. I heard a quote which was, the days are long and the years are short, and Nearly makes me cry because time's just going fast. So the best way we can slow down time psychologically is to be present in the body as well. So we'll be doing that practice. We'll be doing the coherence practice. And so what I would invite you to do, we'll start in about a minute, is get yourself comfy. If you want to lay down, lay down. If you want to stay seated, stay seated. If you want to have a slurp of something, have a slurp of something. And yeah, I'll get queued up here and we'll get started shortly. If you need a bathroom break, grab a bathroom break. Okay. Somebody just let me know, is that music too loud or too quiet? Too loud, too quiet, or about right? Make it louder. Ian, yeah, make it louder. Yeah. Testing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. Okay. Just put it a little. So just go ahead and gently close the eyes if you feel safe in doing so. I want you just to settle in. And I want you just for the first moment or two, just allow the mind to do what it needs to do. Let those thoughts happen. And we'll begin very, very shortly with some guidance. Doing a little bit of relaxation work. So I want you just to screw up your face for me, like tighten it up and then let it go. So I want you to feel like, what does a tense face feel like? And then what does a relaxed face feel like? Good. Now tense your belly, bring your belly button into your spine and notice what a really tense tummy feels like. You might already be doing that. And then just let the tummy go and do that a couple of times as well. Tense your tummy, bring in your belly button to your spine and then let it go. Good. Allow the shoulders to drop a little, softening the back of the neck. Allowing the feet to be flat against the floor if you're sitting. And if you're laying, just allow the bed or the sofa or the floor to just hold you. And we'll begin. So let's begin by simply acknowledging where you are right now. And there's no need to change anything. Just notice. If your eyes are still closed, just gently open them and allow a soft gaze. We'll go back to closed shortly. So with your soft gaze, eyes open, just begin exploring the space around you. If you're in a room, let the eyes wander without any purpose or urgency. What do you notice in this moment? What colours or textures are drawing your attention? As you continue, just notice if there's anything, maybe just one thing or perhaps two or three that bring you the smallest sense of ease or appreciation or joy. It might be something you've never noticed before. The way something has a shadow, a little crack in the wall, a little scuff, or something familiar that feels welcoming right now. Just looking around, noticing some shadows on the wall. I can see some colours of some post-it notes. I'm really drawn to the pinks right now. So just looking around, finding something that brings you a little joy. It could be something so small, the way something touches something else. Good. Now bring in the awareness to where your body meets the world. Can you feel the contact of your feet against the floor? And just notice the quality of your connection that your body has to its piece of furniture. Noticing the temperature, the pressure, maybe some subtle movement. Shifting your attention to your pelvis. Just noticing your sit bones making contact with the chair or the piece of equipment you're on. tuning into your back and your arms and just noticing where they're resting. Can you feel their weight? And there's no need to change your position. Just simply become curious about how gravity holds you. It invites a little bit of stretch movement now, nothing too crazy. You just check in with your body and just see if there's any small movements that want to happen. Yeah, just get out of your own way a little bit. And I'm not suggesting you launch into a full stretch routine. Maybe you need a little yawn. Yeah, I can see some people's heads coming down, some people twisting. What tiny adjustments might feel satisfying right now? Maybe your shoulders want to roll slightly. Perhaps your fingers want to wiggle or curl. Maybe you want to put a little smile on your face. Maybe your head wants to tilt a little bit. There's no right answer. Yeah, just invite your body just to make those little small movements. Question is, what would your body actually welcome right now? What small movement might your body appreciate or even enjoy? That's good. And if you do something that doesn't feel quite right, that's also really good information. So just don't do that. Try something else. Your body's preferences are the guide here. There's body wisdom here. Of course, let's now turn our attention to the breath. So without changing it, let's just observe it for a moment. Where do you notice your breath? Maybe you can sense the gentle rise and fall around your chest. Perhaps you're more aware of the breath in your belly. Some people notice it in their throat. Maybe there's a coolness in their nose. Just really tuning into your breath. Body-led meditation. Where is breathing easiest for you right now? What part of the process already feels smooth or effortless? I continue to invite you to allow those small movements to happen from the earlier part. If your body wants to stretch or twist or move as you're noticing the breath, please do so. Now, if you wanted to allow your breath to become just slightly fuller, not forcing a maximum breath, but just adding a gentle degree more volume, how might you do that? Would adding a bit more breath make you feel a little bit more satisfied? Just filling up the belly a little more. Does that feel inviting to you right now or not? Just playing, just a little. There's no correct answer. This is just about discovering what your body is drawn toward. Just notice now, before we move on, just the pace of your breath and just enjoy it. So just get curious at watching the inhale exhale happening. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. And if you find yourself in the thinking mind, know that that's so normal. We'll just bring the attention back to watching your breath. Back and forth, a practice. I'm going to add a little bit of touch now. So another layer, the quality of self-touch. And just place a hand somewhere on your body that it feels natural to rest it. I like to place mine over my heart. Could be a leg, could be an arm, could be holding your hands together. Might even be over your face. And once the hand is there, just pause and check in. How does your body respond to this touch? Does it feel pleasant or comforting? Does it feel neutral? Neither good nor bad, just there? Or does it feel slightly off? Like it's not quite where you want it right now? And if it doesn't feel quite right, that's completely fine. Just move the hand somewhere else. Maybe it needs a little more pressure, a little less pressure. So just feeling how that self-touch notices. Maybe you find a place where the body just says yes, or at least it says, okay, this is fine. Just trying a few different areas. Really good. Keeping the awareness of the breath in there somewhere as well. Just being curious about the pace. Maybe it's changed slightly. Maybe it hasn't. Taking those hands. We're almost ready to start some breath work now. So before we do, a couple of last things. I would love for you to pop a little smile on your face and just notice what that does to the quality of your feelings. And if you be so bold, I'd love for you to dial that smile up even more. Maybe even show a few teeth. There we go. My favorite part. And even if you don't feel like smiling, maybe just try it for a couple of seconds. Just notice what those muscles feel like. Notice what it does. And one last time, maybe you can dial it up 1% more. Enjoying this moment as much as you can. Not more than you can enjoy it, but as much as you can enjoy it. As we close off this section, remember this isn't about achieving a perfect state or following rules. It's about developing a conversation with your body, asking questions, noticing responses, and adjusting. The art of embodiment is a journey we all have to take. And it can be quicker or slower. We just got to practice, notice. Good. And then just wiggling fingers and toes. And so gently coming back. Really well done, everyone. Staying where you are. I would recommend keeping the eyes closed. We're going to jump into a little bit of coherence breathing. Now, if it feels too fast for you, then try breathing a little less air. If it feels too slow for you, you can breathe a bit more air. We're breathing about 6 breaths a minute. And take as many breaks as you need. We're just practicing today. And the goal here is to inhale gently, exhale slowly. We're not going to pause the breath at any point. We're just breathing in and breathing out. And I invite you to just enjoy it as much as you can. We'll be doing two bells by Stephen Elliott. And there's a bell for the inhale and a bell for the exhale. Now, I'm going to give you one of my favorite tips I wish somebody had shared with me. When you hear the bell, it's the signal to change from the inhale to exhale. So it's going to go bong, bong. When I used to hear those bells, it would send like a shiver down my spine. Like, oh my God, I need to change. Oh my God, I need to change breath. Oh my God, it's time to exhale. And then what I learned to do is I would use the bong as a bit of a symbol to go, okay, in the next second or so, I'm going to gently change to an exhale. Bong. Okay, now it's time to gently go to an inhale. And so it was more of a gentle switch between the breaths as opposed to a light switch going on and off, which is not very nice. And I wish I'd known that at the start. So let's do that together now. So I'm going to guide you through this. So that's the inhale. We can take a minute to get into this. And there's the exhale. Inhale gently. Exhale softly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Relax the shoulders. Soften the belly. Inhale. Breathing out a little softer. Inhaling a little lighter now if you can. Exhaling softly. Breathing in. Letting go. Keeping the body soft, back of the neck loose. Maybe even a little smile for the last few minutes. We'll run for about another 3 minutes. Plenty of time. Inhaling gently. Exhaling so softly. Take a break if you need to. Breathing in. Letting go. Now you're where you're meant to be, so I want you to just give your body permission for the last couple of minutes to really drop into this session. Allow the mind to relax. And know that everything's okay. Inhale softly. Exhale gently. You're doing so well. Breathing in. Letting go. About 90 seconds. Breathing in. Letting go. I'm going to leave you with the bells now for the last minute and a bit. No talking, so just drop into the sesh. Inhaling softly. Exhaling gently. Final inhale. Final exhale. Staying with eyes closed just for a little bit longer, allowing your breathing pattern to return to whatever feels most natural. Keeping the face relaxed, tummy relaxed, back of the neck soft. Allowing all the muscles in your body to lengthen and loosen, and just allowing the body to again make any subtle changes or moves that it wants to do. Good. And then just go back one last time to a little bit of breath awareness. Let's just notice our breath without changing it. We just changed it for a few minutes. Just a little taster. And just noticing the breath again. Just be the observer and enjoy noticing it. A bit like you'd enjoy watching the waves lap against the shore. You wouldn't try and change those waves. You just want to enjoy them coming and going. Just observe and enjoy watching the breath come and go without any need to change it in any way, without any need to judge it. And one last time, if you'd be so brave to pop a smile onto that beautiful face of yours. How lucky we are that we get to breathe, that we get to be in this life, and maybe just place your hand over your heart. Just notice how that feels. If it doesn't feel good, do something else. And let's just take a moment to feel grateful that we get to have a body, that we get to breathe. How lucky we are that we're alive. Breathe in this ancient air. And then when you're ready, let the hand come down and wiggle fingers and toes. And then just gently come back. Have a little stretch. Maybe a little yawn. Maybe you want to shake your hands out a little bit. Yeah, move the face around a little bit if you like. Welcome back. Just a smidge, just a taster, you know. I like to do that at least 20 minutes, just the coherence breathing. A couple of times a day sometimes. Just a little smidge, just a little something. So yeah, look, if you can pop in the chat, like how did you find it? Was it easy? Was it hard? Like what did you notice during the embodiment? What did you notice during the coherence? How you feeling now? Let me know that I've still got you. Mate, you know, it's one of those things. If I put you to sleep, it's a compliment to me, you know, because it means that you're tired. And maybe I was the facilitator that got you some much needed sleep. You know, I think about my in-laws. They don't respect their sleep. They stay up late, and I never respected my sleep as a young man, but I love my sleep now. So if you fell asleep, that's okay. That was nice. Forgot how lovely breathwork is. Oh, thank you for saying that. Notice how calm and focused I became. Beautiful. Nervous shift. That's a cool name. Thanks, Mike. Oh, you're welcome, Ed. Breathing exercise. Let's have a look. Good. Yeah, keep popping them in. Yeah, it can be a little straining sometimes, for sure. You know, we've got to build up to some of these. If we're not used to it, it can be quite a challenge. And this is the uniqueness of the human body. What's really interesting. I'll just tell you a little story about Wim Hof. You know, I went to hang around with the Dutch Iceman 9 years ago. I look a lot younger, a lot less grey hair. And I remember really enjoying those exercises. But I remember some people felt like they were having a panic attack when they were doing them. It was really interesting to me. I couldn't get my head around like how the same breathing exercise could feel so different to people. And then as I've gone through this journey, whereas we're all unique and different, and we all need something a little bit different. So sometimes, for example, coherence breathing can be too fast for some, too slow for others. So we've got to find your unique rhythm, and that's part of what we'll be doing on the program. Fell asleep. Oh, Sally, you've made my day. And you woke up again. I feel bad that I woke you up. Okay, beautiful. I will read the rest of those later. Thank you. Well, listen, thank you for being here. I'm going to just talk to you a little bit now about what happens next. So you will be getting a little digital goodie bag. I'll make sure that gets to you. It's going to have some MP3s. We'll give you the recording of this so you can go and play with that. And we'll do a couple of other bits, a couple of PDFs. And I would love for you to consider being part of my program, which starts a week today. We've been promoting it to waitlist members all of last week. So people that joined the waitlist, we've been giving them first dibs. So I know there's a few of you here tonight, so thank you. I've also got a few members here that have already signed up that have come tonight. So that's nice of you. You didn't need to do that. Hopefully it's given you a little something else. But we're going to cover all this. So quick bit, what we're going through. We're going through the 5 gates, the big 5 I'm calling them. I'm going to teach you these. I'm going to take what I've learned over the last 9 years and put it together in a program. I love teaching. I love teaching groups. And my old job in the corporate world was learning and development, if you've ever heard of that term. So I love bringing courses to life. I love taking complex information and trying to make it simple and bringing practical exercises to it. So the goal is not to put you to sleep with science, but to put you to sleep with breath work and embodiment work. But we'll be going through these 5 pillars. So over the 5 weeks in November, I'll be taking you through these 5 elements. We'll record it. You'll get access to that for life. And then we've got a load of other stuff going on. So let's just explain the bits that are happening. Maybe you'll consider joining me. And we've got about 20 people on the course so far, so it's not massive. It's pretty intimate. It's a pretty intimate course. So we'll teach you the 5 big modules. There will be a week, and they'll be on a Sunday, by the way, at this time. There'll be a weekly Q&A that we're going to do on the Saturday. Now, I've called it a Q&A. I need a better word for it. We're going to do it as a meetup. So it's going to be a meetup on a Saturday if you want to join me at this time again. And that will be hang out, chat. How's it been? Did you struggle this week? What were your challenges? So, think about a bit of group coaching, because we'll be doing a lot of teaching in the pink. And then we bring these incredible humans in. So we bring in, where have we gone? We bring in Alex Green. Why can't I use my computer today? There we go. 1 second. Come on, Michael. There we go. So we bring in Alex Green. I just did a podcast with Alex, my second one. He is an embodiment specialist. He's a trauma release and tremor release teacher. He teaches instructors how to do that. He's coming in to teach us. We've got Lottie going to show us how to open our fascia, release our fascia so we can breathe deeper. Really, really important. Tom Granger is going to teach us about polyvagal theory, and Julia is going to come and teach us what she's learned from taking thousands of people on sleep retreats. So if you're exhausted, stressed, this is going to be a really beautiful place to be. So you've got those experts coming in, and they're just bonuses. There are some extra bonuses. I sat down and thought, right, everyone's busy. We've got loads of people trying to get our attention and our time and our money. How can I make this an absolute no-brainer for people? So I think, okay, I'd love to do this program. So that alone is hopefully worth the price of admission. We're throwing in the Airheads Masterclass, which I'll talk about in a second. That's waiting for you as soon as you sign up. That's 20 of the world's top speakers that we interviewed and got to teach a program about 2 years ago. And that's been on sale for the last 2 years. So you might already have it. If not, you can get it here. We're also going to give you 6 months of coaching. Now, the reason we're doing this, the reason that this exists, is because most people will teach you a program and then they'll drop you and leave you. And that's not good, because you're like, well, I've learned it, but I haven't practiced it. And that's where things fail. So what we do is we teach you the 5 modules. So you learn what it is, how it works, how to do it. We'll give you the recordings, we'll give you the exercise, we'll give you the worksheets, we'll help you, have Q&As, we'll give experts to bring it to life. But then each Sunday, you'll join my group class and you'll practice it with me. And you go, oh, this bit struggled and I can't do this. This is the magic. This is the missing part of any program, is the embed. You have to embed it. And there's no better way to embed it than in a group, because we get to share experiences. So you get to embed it with us as well. And you get my little mate. If you're from Britain, you'll know mate. If you're not, it won't make much sense to you. Your little friend, your little buddy, O2D2, which we are training this little AI breath coach on all of my materials. So it will be, I don't know, a better me, a second me. I don't know, maybe not, but it will be, a little friendly gal that can give you support. So you can go into it, and it's a chat bot. So you can ask it questions like, why is this happening? What can I do here? I only have 10 minutes today. What should I do? And you can add those questions in. It'll give you a little bespoke plan. So we're just teaching that at the moment to do that. So that's what we've got going on. We've put that price at $500, about £380. You can split pay it. You don't have to pay it all in one go. And we start a week today. Now, because you're live, I want to give you something a little bit special as well. Anybody that signs up today off the back of this, they're also going to get a breath assessment and a personalized plan created by me as well. So what that means is I'll spend a little bit of time with you. I'll build you a plan. We'll assess your breathing. And we'll give you something so that you've actually got something very personalized, directly from me as well. So that's really the whole thing. I'm going to pop into the chat now. 1 second. The link. So you've got 2 options in there. You can do one pay or you can do split pay. And I'm just going to take you inside the community a little bit as well, because I think it's just cool to see it, because we're using a platform called school.com. And I've used this for a couple of communities now, and I really love it. So let me see if I can do a quick stop share and a quick share here. And then if I go here and here, hopefully you can see that. So look, we haven't started yet. I've got 23 people that have joined the program so far. What I love about this platform is there's no crappy social media. It's very, very clean. It's like going back 20 years. And that's what the creator wanted to do. He wanted to feel like old school internet. So look, in the classroom, we've already popped this for you. This is the Airheads Breathwork Masterclass. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of this. I know I've got a couple of members in here already that were texting about this today. So this is what we were selling a couple of years ago, and these are all the replays. So I want to give you a little snippet of who's in here. So we've got a whole section about your breathing body, and we welcome you to the program, and you get all these different things. I guide you through different things, but you've got one of the world's top mechanics experts here teaching. We've got a very big deal from London here that's teaching as well, and we've got an ex-rugby player called Jacko. These are the top experts when it comes to mechanics. We've got people like Jesse Kuma teaching in here, who you might know from the language of breath. We even had a special Q&A with James Nestor, the author of Breath. He came in, did an hour Q&A, really good questions that the community asked in there. So that alone can unlock a lot for people. We've got a yoga nidra session with one of the top yoga nidra experts on the planet as well, and look, loads more. And this is just a bonus. One of the bonuses, we've got Patrick McEwen that came in. He wrote The Oxygen Advantage. We've got Anders Olsen, Conscious Breathing, who invented the relaxator. So this is just the bonus. And this alone, I honestly believe is worth the price of admission. It's such a good program. They're all in here as well. This is what their calendar is going to look like. So all your Zoom sessions will be in here. So we have our first meet and greet on Saturday next week. Where we'll get to know each other, hang out. I'm going to give you some materials, we'll record it. And then the first session kicks in on Sunday. So we'll have a first session on Sunday, 2 hours. I need to add the guests to this, not in here yet. And then that's what November looks like. So if you're at a loose end for November and you've been thinking, I would like a little more energy, I would like a little bit more focus, I would like to work on my breathing, I would like to get myself resilient for Christmas, then consider coming to join us on the program. I would love to have you. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it as well. Hopefully you got a little sense of our teaching style here. I try to keep it pretty light, evidence-based. But the most important thing is that you get a transformation. I don't want you to just buy a course and then nothing happens. That's terrible for you. It's terrible for me. So we've been planning and thinking about this program for a very, very long time. And we've done it with clients for about 4 years. So we've been working one-on-one with people. But this is the first time, and maybe the only time we're going to bring it into a group setting. So very, very excited by that. So just a quick rundown again of what are you getting, how does it work? We cover the big 5 modules, which I've explained. I won't go through those again. You'll get the weekly hang-ups. You'll get the expert guests. You'll get O2D2. You'll get 6 months inside my inner circle community, and you'll get the Airheads Masterclass. And if you do sign up today in the next 24 hours, I will do 10 breath assessments where I'll assess your breathing, give you a personalized report, and some personalized exercises for that as well. So that's everything. So I'm really, really grateful that you took the time to be here with me live today. I'm so, so grateful. The link for the course is in the chat. There's a little QR box there as well. So if you're on your laptop, you can literally pull out your phone and you can just literally snap that. And if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask me, this would be the best time to do that, and I can answer anything about the program, anything about today. Feel free to pop them in or put your digital hand up, and I can take you off Zoom, off mute, and I can answer those questions for you as well. So thank you, Ruth. Yeah, Ruth's one of our members. She's already signed up and she's going to be there. So yeah, thank you, Ruth. Jen, you're very welcome. Sloane's first live session. Very cool. Yeah. Does the breast set me... Yeah, so Tor, yeah. So what we'll do is you'll get time with me. That's the best way of putting it. Yeah, so you'll get some time with me, Thor. So if you do sign up today, we'll spend some time together. I'll assess your breathing. I'll look at your breathing, and then I'll produce you a report like I've done for a couple of people in here as well. Yeah, Margaret's one of our members as well. So Margaret, looking forward to getting you in next Saturday. So yeah, thank you for coming today, Margaret. I'm very humbled that people that have already signed up have come to today's session. So thank you. That was really nice. Yeah, thanks, Ruth. So yeah, look, feel free to ask any questions. I'm an open book. My goal is for you to feel more energized and calmer, and really to share what I've learned over these last 9 years. It's a lot of fun. The thing that I found is wonderful is you've got a couple of options when it comes to this sort of work. I'll give you the example about my back. Actually, I've got a lot of back problems. It's years of sitting at a desk, being told to sit up straight and going, I'm too cool to sit up straight when I was younger, and a load of other things. And I've got a lot of back problems, and it's so overwhelming because there's so much conflict and information out there about how to fix your back. It's painful, and so you're looking at one thing and another thing, and you're trying to figure it all out. But then when I started working with somebody that had pulled it all together, it's like it just took all the complexity out. No, I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to walk you through these steps, and it's been an absolute godsend. And that's what we do with this program. We take away the complexity, we address the fact that some of this can be seen as conflicting, and we bring it together in a cohesive plan for you so it makes sense. And then I hold your hand and walk through it all with you. Thor's in. Thor, well, that's good news. I'm looking forward to welcoming you. We had a nice chat on the phone the other day, so I'll welcome you into the program. So thanks, Thor. Thank you so much for sharing the knowledge. Oh no, it feels lovely to receive. Thank you. I'm assuming Ian is some sort of wellness practitioner. If you're a practitioner, that is a good point, actually. We're not very good at looking after ourselves. I'll put myself in that category sometimes. And sometimes a program like this can be a lovely break to receive from somebody else. So yes, if you're watching this, and you can share these techniques with your own clients as well, because these are safe, evidence-based techniques. I'm not certifying anyone. I find certification a strange thing with breathwork, because we want to get a certificate, we want to be told that we're certified, but yet we're teaching ancient stuff that, like, who certified Wim Hof? He just started huffing and puffing in the lake. So it's an interesting one, but then there is obviously safety aspects you need to think about as well. So anyway, I'm going to draw this to a line in a second. So just one last opportunity. If you want to come off mute, you can give me a little digital wave. If you want to ask a question in the chat, you're very welcome to do so. And I'll pop the link in one more time for you. So a couple of bits that are going to happen after this. I'm going to send you out a digital goodie bag. So you'll get this recording. It'll probably be tomorrow now. I need to chop it out and edit it for you, and a couple of other MP3s. And this course itself will go live on Sunday. So the doors are going to close. What day are we on now? It's Sunday. So I think we're going to close the doors on Saturday morning, just to give you a rough idea of how it works. And then that will be it. It'll be a cohort. It'll be a closed cohort. And then that will be the group that we go through together, and we'll get to know each other. We're going to pair people up if they want to. So they've got an accountability buddy, which just increases the learning so much more. Don't have to do it, but it's a good thing to do, and a load of other stuff as well. So thank you for being part of today. Thank you for hanging around for this little blurb as well. I'm very passionate about this. And by the way, if you're looking for financial support, i.e. you need a longer payment plan, or you've got something going on and you want to just talk to me, I'm going to pop my email address in here. Take a deep breath.co.uk, because I don't want finances to be a blocker for you. So if you need a longer term payment plan or something like that, let's have a chat. So it's hello@takeadeepbreath.co.uk, and we can see if we can maybe help you out in some way, so that you can get this advice and support. And ask yourself, like, what made you join today? Like, what made you come on this meeting? What were you looking for? What were you hoping to get? We don't generally just subscribe to webinars because we've got nothing better to do. We're looking for something. Why are we watching YouTube? Why are we watching Breathwork? I'm looking to do something. And as the great Tony Robbins says, everything comes down to a feeling. Even like winning the lottery or eating some delicious food, it's because you want that feeling. And you hear that and you think, oh, that can't be right. I do that because, and then you peel it back. Yeah, I want to feel abundant. I want to feel safe. I want to feel, I want to feel calm. I want to feel loved. I want to feel enough. So everything comes back to a feeling. And so what drew you to this today? And if this program's resonated with you, and if you want to have a little chinwag with me, then you can drop me an email. We can jump on Zoom and talk it through next week as well. Comment, yes, there will be a replay. I believe we're going to pop it on YouTube or something. I need to talk to the team about where we're putting that. So once the replay is done, I'll edit it and share it out. And you'll also get a copy of the guidance as well. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to take a moment just to honor you for giving me your attention today, because again, as I said at the start of this, there's a billion things that you could be doing right now, and the fact that you wanted to breathe with me and then be embodied is really important. And if you're not financially available right now to do something like this, even with a longer payment plan, know that we've got the YouTube channel, and we've got 450 videos on there, and we've got 150 expert interviews, and we've got every breathing exercise you could ever think of on the Take a Deep Breath channel. And we'd love to have you still stay there and be a part of this mailing list. And if you're looking to take it to the next level, and let me hold your hand and give you the structure of the Breathwork Reset method, then I would love to have you there too. All right, beautiful. Thank you all so much. And thank you to those that put the cameras on as well. It's so lovely to see you, Ian, to see you, A. Wattles Die. Great to see you again. Ruth's in there somewhere. Dave is a panda. I don't know how you've done that, Dave, but I want to learn how to put that filter on because I don't know how to make myself a panda. And thank you to everybody else that came here, Dawn and Jude and Nassim and Myrtle. I know Nancy Bennett. Hey, Nancy. Cheera's here. Hubert's here. Trish and Becky. And Bry's here. Bry Douglas. I didn't know you were in this meeting. We need to have a catch up at some point. Got very cool Bry here. Very big deal over in the US. We've got David, Rick, Maurice, Carmen, and Robert, and a few more I might have missed. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to sign off now. I can yabber on all day, but thank you. And yeah, really respect you for taking your time out today. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.